Titan game day morning here from the home office. How's everybody doing on Facebook Live, on Periscope? Welcome into the show. We have a lot to discuss. The Tennessee Titans will host the Chicago Bears at Nissan Stadium today. It's a beautiful day here in Nashville, Tennessee. Meanwhile, the Titans, they've lost 2 in a row. The Chicago Bears seem to be reeling a little bit as well. We're going to talk about who's going to play, who's not going to play, your 3 Titans keys to success, who should have the biggest impact, and, of course, best bets at the end of the show. Hope everybody's doing all right on this beautiful Sunday morning in Middle Tennessee. We have quite a lot to get to over the course of this morning. But first, we got to share this show around if you would be so kind. Bottom right-hand corner of your screen. Welcome in, by the way, on Periscope, on YouTube, on Facebook Live, and on Twitch. We love to see you guys here on a Sunday morning. Bottom right-hand corner of your screen on Periscope, go ahead and retweet the show, as I have just done from my personal Twitter handle. You can invite your friends to hang out as well. Clowney's out. We'll talk about that over the course of this morning for sure. Bottom right-hand corner of your screen on Periscope, retweet the show if you would be so kind. Facebook Live, it is in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen. Share now to public. That's how you get the Facebook people going on a Sunday morning. There's a lot to be excited about, even though Jadeveon Clowney will not play. This is a good matchup between the Tennessee Titans and the Chicago Bears. And now that more of you are here, we can begin the program officially. Welcome into Titan game day morning on a Sunday. I'm your host, Buck Rising, proud as always to be presented to you by the Ashton Real Estate Group of RE/MAX Advantage, the official real estate agency of the Tennessee Titans, the Nashville Predators, Nashville SC, and Titan game day morning, as well as A to Z Sports Prime Time. Give them a shout at GaryAshton.com. Two Rivers Ford is where you go for Nashville's headquarters for the 2021 Ford Bronco. They will hook you up with the best car buying experience in Middle Tennessee. GaryAshton.com. Sorry, I hit the table. Of course, MyBookie.ag is where you go to make your best bets before this NFL Sunday. Promo code MyTitans will set you up for success and double your first deposit at MyBookie.ag. Okay, a lot of you guys have questions about Clowney, understandably so. As we sit here at 8:34, by the way, I got the bathrobe back from the dry cleaners. I got a hot pumpkin spice latte and a holiday cup, even though it's going to be 80 degrees outside. Excuse me as I take a sip. A lot of you guys are fired up about Clowney. You are going to play today Wyatt Ray, Derek Roberson, and Harold Landry. Typically, that they prefer to go with, for whatever reason, 3 outside linebackers at the position. Those are the 3 that you should expect to see today. V-Love says it feels dope outside. It feels incredible outside, but it's going to be pretty hot inside at Nissan Stadium by the time this game kicks off. What we need to start with, now that you know that Clowney will not play, our friend Diana Rossini from ESPN reporting that just moments ago, now that you know that Jadeveon Clowney will not be a part of the rotation, give me your Titans key to success. I have mine in the comments on Facebook Live and on Periscope. Give me your biggest Titans key to success today against Chicago. I have 3 that I will lay out for you momentarily, because even though you will not have Clowney, there is another player who you have not yet seen, by the way, in a Titans uniform, who will, I think, make his debut today. And we will discuss that here over the course of this morning's show. But meanwhile, give me in the comments your biggest Titans key to success. First and foremost, I will start you off with mine. Where it starts is that aforementioned Titan making his debut, number 33, says Carrie on Periscope, Desmond King. I would expect him to play today, even though he has not practiced all throughout the week. I think they are that desperate for corner help with Ty Smith going on IR. I would expect him to see him all over the field, not just in the nickel, even though that's where he's best at. Without Ty Smith, without Adoree Jackson, your secondary this morning will look like, or this afternoon rather, will look like Malcolm Butler, Desmond King, probably Kareem Orr in some capacity. Jonathan Joseph obviously has been cut. Christian Fulton is on IR. Adoree Jackson has yet to be activated. He will not play today because they have until Wednesday to activate him before he is shut down for the season. Let me know on Facebook Live and on Periscope your Titans keys to success. Chris Jackson is probably, forgive me, Stephen Gray. I honestly forgot about Chris Jackson. Chris Jackson is probably going to be above Kareem Moore on the depth chart, but it depends where they honestly, it depends where they line up Desmond King at. If he plays on the outside, I would anticipate seeing Chris Jackson in the nickel. If they play him at nickel, I don't know how well Chris Jackson can hold up on the outside. Perhaps that's more a Kareem or type situation. Breon Borders is going to be a part of the active roster here today as well. Your 3 Titans keys to success. We are effed, says Ryan Fields. Brandon Blair says third down defense, a historically bad one for the Tennessee Titans. I don't think Chris Jackson is a bum, Ryan. I think he's better. I honestly think he's better. He's played better than Christian Fulton for whatever that means to you. He's been in position a lot of time. He's just giving up some good catches, says Steph Dobbs. I mean, this is a young second. He's a 7th round pick, for God's sakes. Keep your expectations relative. They're going to have to run a 2-3-6 defense. No depth on the D line. Pressure is key. Foles easily folds, says Cards Titans Grizz. Your Titans keys to success here on A to Z Sports Primetime. I gave you mine first and foremost, Desmond King making his debut for this secondary. I'll give you 2 more here in just a second, and we'll continue to take yours right after I remind you about our friend Gary Ashton. I'm doing this show from my house. We're on my back patio right now. It's a beautiful day in North Nashville. It's been a beautiful weekend in North Nashville, and we know that the only person who will hook it up for you the same way that he hooks it up for me, for the Titans, for the Preds, for Nashville SC, that's Gary Ashton of the Ashton Real Estate Group of RE/MAX Advantage. Gary is the best in the business. He'll join us at the end of the show. The Ashton Real Estate Group of RE/MAX Advantage. Get your dream address without the stress at GaryAshton.com. Titans keys to success this morning contain Mac, Ronnie says, and Akeem Hicks. Akeem Hicks is a monster in the middle of that defense. And this Chicago front is probably the best one that you're going to play. So, I mean, the Steelers are really good. So it's probably, I don't know if it's a wash between the Steelers and Chicago, but these are obviously both really, really talented defensive fronts. And Akeem Hicks at like 350 pounds he's an animal in the middle of that defense. And we know what Khalil Mack is, of course. Keys to victory, says Stanley McMurray Jr., blitz, 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 blitz the corners, blitz the linebackers, hell, blitz Vrabel if he has any gas left in the tank. Listen, Mike may have to get out there for as bad as your depth is at outside linebacker right now. Chris Jackson was a 7th round pick for a reason. Big Jeff, 2 sacks today. That's from Carson Jonesy. Good morning, Buck, from the great one, Mitch T. Firkins, joining us on the show. I am sure I will see Mitch Firkins in Nissan Stadium. By the way, if you guys are at Nissan Stadium today, I know that they will be up to, is it 20% capacity this morning or this afternoon? I hope to see many of you. I will, of course, be out and about pregame. So if you see me, I'll be wearing the Bud Adams blue sport coat. Give me a shout. We'll hang out. We'll talk some shop before the game. Good to see you, Mitch, this morning. Hope everybody's doing well. Communication defensively, says Robbie with a bunch of numbers after his name. Communication is going to be huge. 21%. Thank you for correcting me, Carrie. I look at this and I say, okay, Desmond King first and foremost. More importantly than anything, though, you need this red zone offense to operate at a high level. You need the Tennessee Titans to score, to get a lead early, because if they fall behind to the Chicago defense, you will see them struggle the way that they have the last 2 weeks. Now, it's not like Nick Foles can keep up if it gets into a shootout. What they're going to need is they're going to need plays on defense. They're going to need plays on special team. And they're also going to need Nick Foles to play much, much better than he has. They have been atrocious, the Chicago Bears on offense. But if you can get an early lead, if you can step on them early, it will be much more difficult for Chicago to come back, even for as bad as your defense has been right now. We'll see how much different they look without Vic Beasley, without Jonathan Joseph, without Jadeveon Clowney today. And thirdly, field position. No Brett Kern. He will be, he is on IR. I reported yesterday that it is a splint, not a full-on cast. So Brett Kern will return from IR after the 3 weeks, or thereabouts, given the time frame for him. But field position is going to be huge today. Can you make the Chicago offense work harder? You signed Ryan Allen, the former Patriots punter. He's somebody who Stephen Gostkowski has called in his career the best holder in the league. We'll see if that has any effect on Gostkowski's field goal kicking today. You would hope it would be better than up there in the frozen north of Cincinnati and the wind and the whipping around off the Ohio River. Field position today is going to be crucial because you can always count on Brett Kern, except for today when you can't, and except for the next 3 weeks because he will be unavailable to you. Field position, Desmond King on defense, and scoring first. Those are 3 Titans keys to success here on A to Z Sports Prime Time. Let's get a few more, not Prime Time. We're on Titan Game Day morning. I got my shows mixed up. Doing a lot of work here lately for the A to Z streaming network. So no Clowney, no problem. He has been MIA all year. Jason Donahue, I disagree. We talked to Shane Bowen last week. I had Brandon Thorne on the radio. I had Michael Kist on the 615 Sessions podcast. What they're telling us, what the coaching staff is telling us, what the film shows is that that was one of Clowney's most productive weeks last week. He's doing what he was paid to come here and do, disrupt. He wasn't paid to get sacks. And I know you guys are going to look at me like, what the hell are you talking about? And the sacks would be lovely, of course, but Jadeveon Clowney is not a sack getter in his career. He has been consistently. Everybody has told you who watches this man, he is a disruptor on defense. He is who you scheme up pressure for, and hopefully the hope is that he disrupts enough to move the quarterback out of the pocket, to create pressure from other angles, whether that be from the interior with Jeffrey Simmons or Harold Landry to clean up on the outside. Thus far, nobody has taken advantage of the disruption that Jadeveon Clowney provides. This is a huge issue. Of course. And it's not like you can just, you can brush him off and say 13 million for no sacks whatsoever, but he gets the pressures. And today you're going to be missing those pressures. I can almost guarantee it. And the Chicago offensive line is bad, but remember what happened last week against a line filled with backups. Does the cutting of big time contracts make some players step up today, says Caleb? I mean, they're professional athletes. If they can't get up for game day, like, I don't think Jonathan Joseph and Vic Beasley, who didn't really care enough to be here anyway, I don't think that makes them play harder, but I don't know. I mean, I always think that's silly, but I don't think professional athletes think that way. I really don't. And John Robinson said it himself when we talked to him. What would that have been, on Tuesday or Wednesday of this week, when he kind of wanted to be publicly accountable for Vic Beasley and Jonathan Joseph. And of course they cut Bo Brinkley as well. By the way, another long snapper in today. I would say to you that he, I don't anticipate that being a thing, but you would hope you would see greater effort, right? From Wyatt Ray, from Roberson, from Landry, from guys who have not yet. Landry has had opportunities, obviously, but you would hope you would see greater effort than you were getting from Vic Beasley. He's doing his job. He sets the edge, says Mitch. Well, he doesn't just set the edge. He's great against the run, but also he disrupts, and he's doing that well. I know you guys are going to be driven crazy by that, but that's really what it is. Time off the clock, long offensive scoring drive, says Dave Samsel. Yeah, don't give him the opportunity to come back on you. That's going to be a huge thing for the Tennessee Titans against this Chicago Bears team. Facebook Live, Periscope, YouTube, and Twitch TV. Let me know how you feel about it. I have given you 3 Titans keys to success this morning. You need Desmond King to play well. You need to score first offensively, and you need to control field position without Brett Kern in the game. We'll see what Ryan Allen has. Noah Dory, Richard Wofford, we talked about that earlier. They did not activate him off of injured reserve. They have until Wednesday to do so, or he's shut down for the rest of the year. Let's move on to who needs to step up, which Titan player, which player specifically needs to have the greatest impact today against Chicago. Let me know on Facebook Live, Periscope, YouTube, Twitch TV, wherever it is that you consume us, who needs specifically to have the greatest impact today. For a long time, this is the first week. We're now through, this will be week 9, of course, as we sit here halfway through the NFL season, the Titans at 5-2. This is the first week that I have not mentioned Derrick Henry as a part of the game plan. And I think that using Derrick Henry today, there are reasons that you cannot give up on the run, right? Donta Foreman has been called up to the active roster. We'll probably see him, Jeremy McNichols, and Derrick Henry today. But I don't think this is a day to die on your running game. I think this is a day to switch things, not switch things up a little bit, but see test the other strengths of your offense up against this Bears defense. And I will tell you, of course, that Adam Humphries is also out today. Your very, very reliable slot receiver and receiver on third down. We will talk about who needs to step up the most right after I remind you about our friends at Two Rivers Ford. That's where you go for the best car buying experience in Middle Tennessee, tworiversford.com. Nashville's official home of the 2021 Ford Bronco, a badass vehicle that you can check out, you can customize, you can see all the options available to you, as well as all of their new and pre-owned inventory at tworiversford.com. They will hook you up the same way they hook up me. Titan Game Day morning here on a Sunday. We're getting ready for the Titans and the Bears. We will see how this comes to pass here at noon at Nissan Stadium. Which Titans player needs to have the greatest impact against Chicago? Nicholas Rogers wants to see Landry, as does Jordan Jones. Jordan Jones says as well. 17 from Carey. Parker Hesse will not play today, Lewis Chesney. I love you to death, but it's just not going to happen, bud. Matthew Grooms saying Malcolm Butler, 31 Savage. He has looked average. That's from Ryan Fields. Landry, Corey Davis from Peyton. Corey Davis has been spectacular this year. He has more 100-yard games this season, or he has as many 100-yard games this season as he has in his entire career, which is insane to me. Excuse me as I take a sip of the PSL. Damn, these things are good. Landry, says Nicholas Rogers, but you love to see what the production that Corey Davis has had. Now, you would like to see Corey Davis contribute, even if the stats aren't as gaudy as they were last week against Cincinnati. You would like to see Corey Davis and A.J. Brown, a balance between the two where they're both effective, so one is not drawing a greater amount of attention than the other. You would also like to see the tight ends get involved in the passing game today. That's been less of a thing since Taylor Lewan was removed from the lineup, because they're being asked more often to stay and block to help Ty Sambraio. And against a Chicago defense, I would not anticipate that changing much. They will be under duress, he and Dennis Kelly. Dennis, of course, dealing with a knee issue. Adorian in or out, says Buckethead. He is out, Buckethead. He was not activated yesterday. He will be out. They have until Wednesday to bring him back. Pass rush will be better without Clowney today, says Charles Heron. I disagree. Contract Corey going off, says Kernick. Ryan Field says Corey Davis is a top wide receiver according to Pro Football, like just Pro Football or Pro Football Focus. I'm not sure who you're talking about, but I assume Pro Football Focus is who you're referencing. Landry, Simmons, Roberson with Clowney out. Look for Ray when he gets in, says Stephen Gray. I mean, you're gonna notice, right? It's gonna look a lot different on defense. No 44, no 90, no 99. You will be without some very, very what has been a pretty consistent defensive front for you. Now it's consistent in that it's consistently bad. Between Beasley, Clowney, Simmons has been good. Obviously, Daquan Jones has been good, but the outside linebackers have been poor at best. They have been ineffective, and they have been below average. Even as I think Clowney does well in disrupting the quarterback off his spot. PSL flex time. Buck says, Kernick, I've already taken a sip of mine. There's only so much coffee I can drink. Mitch says 54. He wants to see Rashaan Evans. Corey Davis is performing because he has a new quarterback. Now, Jermail, I told everybody last year, I swear to God, I swear to the football gods, as we sit here on my beautiful patio here in scenic North Nashville, where I reside, I told everybody last year, if Corey Davis had a bad year in 2019, it was because of operator error. And sure enough, Marcus Mariota got benched. Clowney is there to cause disruption. Matt Robinson says, no way, that's right. I mean, he is here to cause disruption and to create more opportunities for sacks. So far, that hasn't been the case, but the disruption has been there according to the pressures. He's getting close, right? I've tweeted this before, and you guys loved it. Clowney should lead the league in his own stat. Almost sacks, which of course are called pressures. And he doesn't lead the league in pressures, but he gets plenty of them. He just doesn't get home. It's incredible to watch. Incredibly frustrating if you're a Titans fan. Who needs to step up the most today? Yeah, he says he has been inactive all year, talking about Clowney. For me, though, it is Ryan Tannehill. Today, I need to see, that sounds silly to say, but today I need to see plenty of number 17. Today, I need to see the Ryan Tannehill who we saw through the first, 6 weeks of football, where he was performing at a high level, where he was scoring in the red zone with regularity. He has 17 touchdown passes. That's fifth most in the NFL right now, minus a game because, of course, they had the forced bye, the enforced bye already at this point in the season. Look for Ryan Tannehill to do the heavy lifting today. Derrick Henry, I'm sure, will get his carries. Derrick Henry, I don't know if that should be the game plan to focus on him specifically. I think today is a Ryan Tannehill day. That is what I would anticipate seeing a heavy dose of. The passing game needs to do some heavy lifting today against the Bears, and I cannot see the kind of mistakes. And Ryan Tannehill was hugely accountable over the course of this past week and post-game in Cincinnati when he threw that terrible interception to A.J. Brown. But there's a degree of truth, I think, and they feel like they have to force these things as an offense. Ryan Tannehill clearly forced that pass into A.J. Brown in the end zone. This defense cannot be trusted. Now, we will see how much different it looks with Desmond King and without Clowney and without Beasley, without Joseph. We'll see. But this offense, at times, I believe is forcing things. And I don't think there was any more indicative example of that than watching Ryan Tannehill try to fit that pass in between almost three defenders in Cincinnati to A.J. Brown in a spot where it should not have happened. I would tell you that I trust Ryan Tannehill in these games. I think I trust Ryan Tannehill worlds more than I ever thought I would in games like these. But Ryan Tannehill needs to have the greatest impact today. I think that will be crucial for the Tennessee Titans against the Chicago Bears. Let me know who you think needs to have the greatest impact here on A to Z Sports Prime Time. Glad to see YouTube has the chat. I'm one of the millions that has given the tech giants the literal finger, says Michael E. Bucket. Yes, welcome, Michael. We love to see you on YouTube as well. Arthur Smith play calling, says Chris McKinney. Man, I think Art's been fine. I know you guys like to yell at Art for not getting too cute and not running the ball when he needs to run the ball. But today, honestly, I don't think is a day to die on the running game. I really don't. Against Hicks, against Eddie Goldman, against Khalil Mack, of course. You see this Chicago defense. And it's kind of like when they started out against the Buccaneers of last year, right? Where they knew that they had favorable matchups, against the Carolina Panthers. They didn't run the ball the way that they should have until the second half. And then against Tampa Bay, they came out running against the best run defense in the sport, and they were immediately snuffed out. Now, they won that game, but still, this was a situation where you looked at the play calling and you said, what the hell are they doing? This could not be more obvious. And maybe you think, oh, well, they'll never expect us to run on them. And then you run on them from the first play of the game, and Derrick Henry gets snuffed at the line of scrimmage. But this is a game like that. Like, be smart. This is the sixth best defense in the sport, according to DVOA. These guys are stout. Do not rely so heavily on the run game as to be to the detriment of your football team. Brandon wants to see Jonnu Smith, more of Jonnu Smith today. Henry, offense to set up Tanny, says Donald Bell. I disagree, Donald. I really do. I think that's a bad idea today. I think it needs to be Ryan Tannehill. What is going on with these screen passes this year? They work so well last year, says Steph. That's an interesting question. I would say to you that the screen passes, you have to spend a lot of time making sure that you get those exactly right with the screen passes. But they haven't, I don't think they've had the offseason time to work on the screen game. And it's not like it just, everything carries over from this year or from last year to this one, right? We've seen continuity is a big thing, but you have to be comfortable. You have to rep those things out. And I really do think the lack of offseason has affected that. Tana MVPville, says Chris Frazier. He needs to have 3 touchdown passes today. Jeffrey Simmons, 2 sacks. BMO, screens have been bad without Lawan. They will be virtually impossible. I think you guys are beating up on Ty Sambrayo. I don't think that he deserves your scorn. I think that Ty Sambrayo has been fine here on the Titan Game Day Morning Show. Let's get to best bets, courtesy of mybookie.ag. I'm going to give you some lines here on the Titans and the Bears, according to MyBookie NFL. The Titans are currently a 6.5-point favorite. The over-under is set at 47. What is between those two, whether it's the Titans by 6.5 or an over-under of 47, what is your Titans best bet here on A to Z Sports prime time. Let me know in the comments section on Facebook Live, Periscope, YouTube, and Twitch TV. I will give you a different best bet that I think that you should make. But first, I'm going to tell you about our friends at MyBookie that present this best bet feature. My Titans, those words, that code you see in front of you, that's how you double your first deposit at mybookie.ag. Up to $1,000. They will match you cent for cent. Check them out at mybookie.ag and use that promo code specifically for A to Z Sports audience. My Titans. Has Isaiah Wilson been activated? He is on the active roster, Robbie, here as we sit at the home office in North Nashville. Isaiah Wilson, we won't know inactives and the 48 game day roster until 10:30, officially until 10:30, but I don't anticipate him being active today. What's he going to do? Is he going to block on the goal line? No, it's probably going to be David Quessenberry. He's on the active roster right now as a depth piece. I would anticipate seeing David Quessenberry over Isaiah Wilson at this point. Isaiah, again, you guys continue to ask for Isaiah Wilson for reasons that are foreign to me. He's just not going to be able to do anything for your football team at this point. Under, says Lewis Chesney, he's going under 47. I'll go 6.5. You're taking the Titans by 6. That's a big number. Even in a home game, that's a big number. But if you can score, and you can score, Chicago cannot. Chicago's terrible. Throw Bears plus 13 and over 40.5 and a 6.5 point teaser, says Damon Boswell. Good Lord. Have we ever lost to Nick Foles, says William Sullivan? I don't know. I don't believe so, because he was not the quarterback when you beat the Eagles. That was Carson Wentz. No, you beat him as the quarterback for Jacksonville when he replaced Gardner Minshew. I do not believe that you have ever lost to Nick Foles, but I don't remember, back to his first Eagle stint, he wasn't a Raider. What was he between the Eagles? The first Eagles stint. Oh, he was a Ram. He was a St. Louis Ram for a hot second. I don't think you lost to him then. Isaiah Wilson will have to play corner today, says Ethan Ramsey. Over EA, he's taking the over of 47. I believe second half Titans will have the upper hand. Have we? If Adoree isn't able to play this year, do you still pay him? Says Ryan Fields. Of course not. You can't do that. I would say to you here on the Titan Game Day Morning Show, my Titan Game Day Morning best bet as we sit here from the home office getting ready to put a bow on things. I would take the first half under of 20 points. It's plus 100 right now at mybookie.ag, the NFL page. Take the first half under 20 points. I don't think Chicago can score. I think the Titans will work things out in the first half against this defense, and if they score 20 points in the first half, they will obviously be on a roll. But I don't anticipate this being a high-scoring, at least first half. If the Titans pull away, that would be ideal for you guys, and that would set up well for how you're built to get a lead, control the clock, run Derrick Henry, even if it's against a stout defense. I would say to you that the best bet in this game, as I look at it, you have the Titans favored by 6.5 at home, which I think is a big number. You have the over/under set at 47, but the first half of under 20 points, I think, is a heady play at this point on A to Z Sports Titan Game Day Morning. That is mybookie.ag, my Titans best bet here as we get ready to head over to Nissan Stadium. That's the show. We've had a good time. I've enjoyed hanging out with you guys. It's good to see you on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Periscope. Remember to support the people that support the show, the Ashton Real Estate Group of RE/MAX Advantage, Two Rivers Ford, mybookie.ag. They will hook you up the same way that they hook us up here on the A to Z Sports Network. If you're going to go to the game, make sure that you say hi. And before we put a bow on things and head over to Nissan Stadium, we will welcome in our friend Gary Ashton, who is joining us. I'm not sure. It doesn't look like from the dog park today, but we will see where the big homie is at. What's up, Gary? Welcome into the show. What do you know? Gary Ashton.
Can you hear me? I'm having technical difficulties here, I think.
No, I can see you. I can hear you. You look fine. Are you in the dog park?
No, Unfortunately, I can't hear you. I was having trouble with my phone, so
Okay.
if you can hear me, don't sell without the intel. And go Titans.
Go
We'll
Titans.
see you at the game, but I can't hear you at all, so I'm just going to hang up.
All right. We'll see you later, Gary. Gary Ashton from the Ashton Real Estate Group of RE/MAX Advantage with a quick pop in. Don't sell without the intel. Gary will hook you up. We could hear him, but I guess he could not hear us here on the Titan Game Day morning show. We'll see you guys at the stadium. Come say hi if you're so inclined, and enjoy the football because it will be an interesting game. And if the Titans lose 3 in a row, we'll have a lot to talk about at 8 p.m. on A to Z Sports.